bucka. Ha. You know the deal. This is me.
The next thing we're going to talk about in our patterning unit is called ordered pairs and graphing ordered pairs. So what we see here is what we've seen a few times, which is a number pattern. It's a linear number pattern. And we've got our terms and our term numbers put in a table of values. So we've got x representing the term numbers and y representing the terms. So our first term is 5, our second term is 7, our third term is 9, and our fourth term is 11. So hopefully after watching the last video you would know how to come up with the equation for that number pattern and also be able to continue the number pattern. Well, when we're talking about ordered pairs are sets of values in a relation usually written in the form x, y. So what does that mean? Well, if we take a look up at our table of values, our first x value there is 1. And our first y value is 5 because our first term is 5. So the x value 1 goes with the y value 5. So when we write that in an ordered pair, we put it in brackets. Our x value comes first, so our x value is 1. And then our y value comes second, and our y value is 5. If we continue working our way down the table of values here, we can see our second ordered pair. Our x value is 2, and our y value is 7. And carrying on down, our third term is 9. So our third ordered pair here, our x value is 3. And our corresponding y value is 9. And then finally, the last values that we have in the table of values here is our x value is 4 and our y value is 11. Now if we wanted to, we could continue this number pattern. So we know that our fifth term would be 13. So our fifth ordered pair here is our x value is 5 and our y value is 13. So there you can see we've taken that table of values where we have our corresponding x and y values and we've rewritten them as ordered pairs. So we're going to take a look at another example here, and again this is something we've seen a few times already, where we've got a number pattern where our terms are 4, 8, 12, and 16, and we have our term numbers, the first, second, third, and fourth term. So as usual, we let x represent the term numbers and y represent the terms, and we create our table of values. Well, now from that table of values, we're going to write those values as ordered pairs. So the x values that go with the y values in brackets with a comma in between them. So our first pair of ordered pairs here, our first set is our x value is 1. So in our ordered pair in brackets, first we put 1 and our y value is 4. Our next ordered pair, our next set of values, well, the second term in this number pattern is 8. So x is 2 and y is 8. And carrying on down the table of values, we can see our next ordered pair is x is 3 and y is 12. And finally, the last one that we have in this table of values is x is 4 and y is 16. We could continue our number pattern here, and you could probably come up with the fifth term on your own, and we know that the fifth term would be 20. So our x value is 5 and our y value is 20. So that's our ordered pair there. And hopefully you recognized that the equation here is y equals 4x, which means we're taking the term number and timesing it by 4 to get the term. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is how to graph these ordered pairs. And when we're graphing the ordered pairs, we use a grid system. This particular grid system is called a Cartesian coordinate system. And in our Cartesian coordinate system, we have these two bold lines here. These lines are called axes, or each one is an axis. The horizontal line, so the flat line, is our x-axis. So those are our x values along that line there. And the vertical line is our y-axis. So those are our y values there. Well, if we take a table of values here from a number pattern, we can see here this number pattern, our first term is 3, our second term is 4, our third term is 5, and our fourth term is 6. First thing again that we're going to do here is we're going to rewrite those as ordered pairs. So our first pair of values is x is 1 and y is 3. So we just put that in brackets with a comma in between them. Our second term is 4, so our x value is 2, our y value is 4. Our third term is 5, so our x value is 3, our y value is 5, and so on. Well, when we go to graph these ordered pairs, we're going to take a look at the first ordered pair here first, where x is 1 and y is 3. So let's start with x is 1. Well, if we look at our x-axis, our x line, x is 1 right there. So x is 1 everywhere along this line. And next we're going to look at our y value in this ordered pair. And in this ordered pair, our y value is 3, and y is 3 right there. So our line, y is 3, well, y is always 3 along that line. So when we're looking for the coordinate 1, 3, we're looking for where these two lines meet. And these two lines meet at that point right there. So at that point is where x is 1 and y is 3. So I've just cleaned it up here a little bit, taken those lines away, and again we can see the point 1, 3 is there because x is 1 there and y is 3 there. Well, next we're going to try to plot the point 2, 4. So we're looking for where x is 2 and y is 4. And we can see x is 2 on our x-axis there, y is 4 on our y-axis there. So those two lines meet at that point there. So that's our coordinate 2, 4. Continuing on, we're looking at the next ordered pair, 3, 5. Well, x is 3 there, y is 5 up there. So those two lines meet at that point there. And finally, we have the coordinate 4, 6. X is 4 there, y is 6 there, so our two lines meet at that point there. Now if we continue this number pattern in our table of values, our fifth term would be 7. You probably recognize the number pattern by now. So that would be our ordered pair 5, 7. If we want to plot that point, we're looking where x is 5, which is right there, and where y is 7, and on our y-axis y is 7 there, and those two lines meet at that point. So that's the coordinate 5, 7. So if we just put our ordered pairs next to our points here, we can see again those are the points from our table of values. And if you remember initially, the first video in our patterning lesson here, we called these linear number patterns. And you can probably start to see why now those are called linear number patterns if you take a look at the shape that seems to be emerging from the dots here. And the shape that's emerging is a straight line, and that's why this is called a linear number pattern. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're actually going to work backwards here. So here we're starting with our points on our graph. And the first thing I want to do is establish, well, what are these points as ordered pairs? So in other words, where those red dots are, what is the x value and what is the y value? Well, if we look at the first dot there, we can see that that dot is on the line x equals 1. So our x value is 1, and it's on the line, and that's because at that position, x is equal to 1. And we can see y is 2. So our y value is 2. So our ordered pair is 1, 2. Our next dot there, we can see x is 2 and y is 4. And finally, our third point there, we have x is 3 and y is 6. Well, now we can go ahead and put these values in a table of values. So our first 3 x values that we have there are 1, 2, 3 in our ordered pairs. And our first 3 y values that correspond with each one of those, well, if x is 1, y is 2. If x is 2, y is 4. And then finally, if x is 3, y is 6. So what that means here is we have a number pattern where our first term is 2, our second term is 4, our third term is 6, and hopefully you recognize the number pattern, so you could see that the fourth term would be 8, and we would have the ordered pair 4, 8, which if we were to plot on our graph would be up here, because there x is 4 and y is 8. And again, you can see we have a linear number pattern, because when we graph it, it makes a straight line. So, to finish off our lesson on ordered pairs and graphing ordered pairs, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things here. So for each number pattern, create a table of values. So remember to assign a variable to the term numbers and the terms. Write the values as ordered pairs, and then graph the ordered pairs. So you're going to need to get yourself some graph paper and draw your x-axis and your y-axis to create your grid system. If you're able to do that, congratulations, you now have a firm understanding of ordered pairs and graphing ordered pairs.